Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of ATOD 20 Presents Storyboard, the frame by frame into the metagame. I am Tail Weaver Omar, pronouns any and I'm joined by a fantabulous member of the ATOD fam. Give a warm welcome to LM. How's it going, LM?
Hello everyone. I'm doing great, Omar. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. So, on this special edition of Storyboard, we're going to go in and dive in and talk about our newest series, as well as some couple hints, spoiler-ish Easter eggs on the next core that will release next Monday, and then, of course, what's coming up next season once we're all set in the new year. But before that, I want to ask my co host here, who also is one of the stars of Tarot. Tarot, if you don't know, is a Tale D20's actual play, pre recorded adventure playing Mask, a New Generation by Magpie Games, is run by Powered by the Apocalypse. And we spice it up a little bit with some homebrew mechanics in a world that we call Tarot, where we play very anime-oriented characters, teenagers who are going to Metro and from Metroton City who are going Metroton High and are actually Super Sentai superheroes that use the power of tarot to stop the evil Kishin and the Dark Umbral Council. So a fantastic story that we have built together, and we have just wrapped up filming season one, and you guys are in for such a treat. But enough of that little explanation. I'm going to go ahead and turn right to LM. So, as one of the stars of that show, you have shown us your acting chops slash role playing chops slash storytelling chops as the one and only Samara Kavani. Can you let us know a little bit about Samara and what inspired you to create that character?
Yeah, definitely. And great question. Um, Samara is uh, nicknamed Sammy. Um, she is a she's a very inquisitive individual. She's on the student council, student government. And I think that was a little bit of a kind of peek behind the curtain look at me, myself personally. I have been very involved in a lot of my school clubs, one of them being student government. But what inspired me to create Samara was the fact that we have two other really awesome characters that are dynamic, and I had to find a way to stand out. We've got your colloquial prom king and queen type characters. And Samara is not that. She's not going to be found on the homecoming court, but she is someone that does care a lot about her friends, and her heart is in the right place. Just wish her actions were as well. So for you to understand what I mean, please stay tuned and watch watch our awesome show that we just finished wrapping up.
Yes, totally. Sammy gets into so many shenanigans, starts so many shenanigans, and we really get to see the evolution of the character. Now we're only done with the first core. That's the first of the third as we break up our season to three chunks of four-ish episodes. And the journey we already seen. We were revealed so many secrets. If you're current right now, if you're not, mute for the next couple minutes. We're going into some spoiler territory, but if you're current right
Spoiler
now,
alert.
we saw this big reveal on Samara and her mother, who was revealed in the last episode to be one of the Dark Arcana leaders, the Moon, Sariella Gibson. How did that feel, and how the when you realized that? Because we discussed this prior. It wasn't just something that came up in all PBTA games. You're kind of like collaborative story mode. But what does that mean to like why that's something that you wanted to bring in Sammy's story?
Yeah, that was something that we had kind of mulled over a bit because, by the way, for everyone who has had the awesome privilege of playing this great game, we're playing Masks, a new generation. Um, she wasn't always planned to be the Doomed playbook. I believe originally the concept I had floated was that I wanted her to be a scion, and that is an advanced playbook. It is found in the awesome Unbound play setting, and it's about being the child of a supervillain. And I felt like that might have been a little too on the nose. So I think that I asked for your permission if we could kind of like marry these two ideas together and kind of have Samara be the unknowing child of a member of the Dark Council, the Moon. And I feel like that when we do find out in the session, I feel like there's that payoff because we kind of got a little very hint of it in the session 0 when our team first came together, and she had some visions. We kind of painted a silhouette, but now it's like full blown. It's no longer like who's that Pokemon? It's like who's that? Oh, the Moon. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
I think it's crazy. I remember when I was like, because I would get weary. I'm like, about when we have a characters who's like the big bad is kind of related to their story. Are we gonna focus too much on them or we're not? But then and so I feel like we all played so well with drawing ourselves into Samara's story. Like it seems everyone, and as you see as the series continues, everyone has their own both in school issues and outer school issues with their parents and all that on top of being superheroes. And I feel like Sammy's like superhero issues also tie in every other aspect. Like she has like this kind of like connecting like circular arc when it comes to her entire story, like parent issues both in school, out school, and in the arcana, and like perfectionism, and then we see how that builds upon as the season goes on.
Yeah, yeah, she's Sammy's super enmeshed in the storyline, and I think that is a really great testament to you, Omar, for creating so many awesome characters in the periphery that Sammy can attach herself to. So it feels like no matter what's going on, our girl's life is being wrecked some way or shape or form.
And we had such a great time just seeing Sammy's like transformation. So I'm gonna play a clip specifically showing like in episode 4 part 2. So we're gonna go to episode 4 part 2, exactly when Sammy finally became like who she was meant to be, like the 3 of Pentacles. Whereas at this point, the other 2 have already transformed, and this episode was definitely designed around like Sammy's insecurities and the Moon pushing it, like pushing herself in. Um, so I wanted to show this clip of hers finally popping out and um well, like owning who she was. So
If you don't
let
mind me
me
asking,
Mhm.
what was the awesome timestamp for this
Oh yeah,
particular lovely
yeah,
one?
yeah.
I'm so
Uh,
sorry.
we're gonna catch this one on episode 4, part 2, and we're gonna fast forward ourselves over to yeah, we want the good part. So we're gonna take it to um the second hour, 17 minutes in.
For episode 4, part 2, Three of Pentacles.
Yes. And this is
So
the part where we are getting actually, or am I giving you the wrong one?
I think you might be.
I'm giving you the wrong
It's
one.
okay. It's okay. You just did a great job, by the way. By the way, this is our lovely editor right here. Omar is not only a genius GM, but also our lovely editor. So it's okay if, because we'll film these awesome sessions, but you are the mastermind behind all the cuts and edits. So please just let me know whenever you are ready.
Oh yeah, of course. So I that was on me. I
It's
was
okay.
looking at the wrong
You're so
clip.
good.
We are actually going to take it to sorry about that, guys. Okay, we're gonna go into hour 1, 8.5 minutes in.
Nice.
I think that is going to be the
Perfect.
perfect spot to really show exactly that moment with Samara. So
All right.
switching on over. Hello, everyone. We're gonna fast forward it all the way over. Right here.
Invoke another tarot ability, which will bump that to a 10 from not 8 to 9 to 10.
Yes.
Which is called Arcana's Edge. For Arcana's Edge, you can raise your number by guessing whether or not it is going to be a reverse or if it's going to be an upright, and I will give you +1. It's one of the simplest and easiest ways to up your card, up roll, up and down, when using your Arcana powers. So just that extra +1 that you need just to make it to the next level. Think a bit about using teamwork selfishly, but you're not using it selfishly. It's like using teamwork, but you're not using teamwork, using your own individual powers of the Arcana. So if you do and get this right, then you will be able to get that full 10. Do we have a deal?
We do.
I love it. I love it. Oh, so upright or reversed?
Upright.
This is where we draw your destiny.
And we have the Judgment Major Arcana card, upright. This card signifies a major awakening, a rebirth, a significant decision made urging you to rise past your limits. Notice how the angel on the card, with their brilliant wings and the horn that heralds a new age, a new dawn. And so Samara, Hex, reaches a new form, her 3 of Pentacles, her minor arcana.
I mean, it's very much just as beautiful and magical as the 2 previous. I think that for a second there, what we're going to see is Sammy or Samara as she's hugging Lula May. She feels that thrum, and then she kind of takes a step back and looks down, and then when she feels it like beat again, she looks up and her eyes grow wide as this shimmering purple like light just kind of like bursts out. And in that moment, normally her costume is very witchy and tattered, and it's giving arcane, whereas this is very much her embracing the celestial and cosmic arcana down to the roots of her hair changing color. It's got like this beautiful like A-line silhouette that, you know, it gently skims her body, cinching slightly at the waist to flatter without restricting. Her bodice is like this subtle like sweetheart neckline, and it's also got this like, the skirt is also beautiful and falls just above the knee with a gentle flow. Basically it's very much giving like, it's got like the small detail like a ruched waistband, and it's also got these beautiful sigils of the Three of Pentacles, and I think that she's also got like these elbow length white gloves, that she's also got like these boots, and she looks like she's part of an ensemble, and it almost feels like it's too good to be true. But the next second she looks, it like just kind of sparkles. It looks like amethyst, just like bursts into the air, and she's in her full minor arcana form. And she says,
All right. I wanted to play that entire thing with the music in the background and just the drama. I wanted to make sure I caught the pop up from off camera on camera, and we were just kind of rolling. We're not expecting that entire sequence to happen, but Samara came out beautifully, and it was such a like moment. Can you tell me about like how that was when we finally got to reveal who you were, like the Three of Pentacles?
yeah, no, first it was just kind of like trying to conceptualize the way that it was going to kind of happen, because you're right, in this kind of PBTA game there is a lot of, you know, collaboration between the players and the GM, but we were kind of mulling over whether or not this was something that it was the very first time, because I believe she was the very last one out of the group to gain her minor arcana powers. So I was kind of like wondering, like, I don't want to, you know, upstage anyone in the sense that when they all had their transformations, they were all very like flashy, and of course it's anime, it's manga, so you know you want the extra pop of color and sparkle, but at the same time it was something that was brought on through an emotional connection that she had with her team. So yes, Bryce was in danger, and I believe up until that moment, actually no, by that time she actually did know that Bryce was Rip. So sure, there was that kind of incentive, but at the same time, it was really, I think the reason why you saw me kind of like brain farting a little bit on the description was because we knew it was happening, but then once the music started playing and I had to flip this little lid down and pop on my new wig, it all felt so surreal. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm finally in my minor arcana form.
I was like,
it was
work.
awesome. It was awesome. Because seeing how the other two lovely players, Marie and Travis, were able to like embody their minor arcana forms, it helped give me a bit of, it helped give me some guidance on how she should be when she does transform. Because like you said, we already had our other superhero personas. You know, Samara's Hex, and you know, we have Travis, we have Rip, and our lovely Diamond. But then now we're these upper echelon set of heroes. So that felt very magical girl transformation, and I loved it.
Oh yeah. I was so excited for that part. Like because I was like, when I was thinking about, right, what kind of story we want to tell, and we all got together and we were talking about what was the story that we wanted to tell, and I definitely wanted to break it up, go very like cliche anime, and say, all right, core one, core two, core three, we focus on each character, but make sure the storyline gets pulled in, tied in throughout the story,
Yeah.
and like it was just like building and building um by the end of the episode because of the fact that we were like already talking about Sammy, but without the others even knowing Sammy, like like going down that dark path because that's the Doom. I mean, like that's I feel like this is such a powerful Doom character, like showing you what you can do with the Doom, and it's not always like sad and depressing and all that stuff or dark. Like we see levels and layers. So I feel like Sammy is like a quintessential how you would play or an idea on a good way to look to see how you would play a Doom character.
Definitely. That's my only hope that first of all, I'm very grateful to get the opportunity to play. As a GM, sometimes you can get stuck in these situations of forever GMing. But you gave me an awesome opportunity to, flex my player muscles and show a different side of the Doomed that doesn't always get showcased. It is very easy to fall into the cliches of having, your Raven from Teen Titans type of character where it's all doom and gloom. But I think it's also a really great testament to my other fellow players that were the light to kind of break Sammy out of her shell, because it got dark really quick in the beginning, but it was because of the help of the two of them that brought her out and brought her out of her shell that I think she is a different kind of Doomed than she probably would have been otherwise.
Totally, and I'm so glad that you said that, like, kinda like that, and use the word break and all those because I wanna go to a clip showing this kind of, pivotal moment in Sammy that it made all of us start to tear up and cry. I know that, um Lula May or Marie, who plays Lula May, was tearing up during the scene where we saw that Sammy like had her like breakdown moment where after hearing about her father saying, "Well, clean up your sister's old sister stuff because you're getting a new sister," just erasing that away. So I'm gonna clip to that same episode, Terror episode 4, part 2, but we're gonna go 27 minutes in as we watch that scene. So
Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 2 to our finale of A Tale D.
we're gonna move us, fast forward us in there. All right, let's take a watch.
Set aside those, you know, I mean, there is no reality in where Chloe comes back, and she's well aware of that. But being told to clean up the space to make room for someone else that's not Chloe, that's the part that really sets Samara over. She looks around to her side of the room, and she almost can't even recognize herself, her space. Like she sees her bed where she sleeps and her desk where she does her homework, but everything else that she had pride in, everything else, like the posters that she had hung up, those didn't look the same. Nothing on her side of the room felt like home. And I think at this point in time, she's done pretending, because the first thing that we see is Samara, her eyes are brimming with tears because, again, she's having like flashbacks of the last time that her and Chloe were in the room. And it was them getting ready for their school trip. And she remembers Chloe making a small jab at how she thinks that the posters are cute, because the posters are of different, cutesy anime style, drawings. So like she's very much into just kawaii, cute. So her sister, her foster sister made a joke saying that she thought it was cute but just childish. And in this moment, she sees red, and she rips one of the posters down before she even realizes that her hand is beginning to glow that same faintish purplish fuchsia color. And then she slams her hand on her desk, but it's almost as if she slammed something that was 20 times the weight of her fist, because just the entire leg of that desk breaks down under the weight. And then that's just the beginning, because then we see the bed sheet being ripped up, and her, like, the feathers from inside of the pillow, the down, kind of like floating into the air as she just begins to destroy her side of the bedroom. And then finally, you just hear the sound of her crying as she's crumpled on the floor, her back against the broken bed frame, and she just kind of has her hands in her face, and she just wants to go back to a time when she had the comfort of just being in the shadows, how she was like second fiddle to Chloe, and how her friends don't need her. They're perfectly fine without her. If anything, she's just drove even a bigger wedge between her and who she thought was one of her closest friends. And right now, she's probably at her all-time low.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Wow.
I mean, wow, that's you. Girl, that's you.
Yeah.
Which
I remember. Yeah, that was...
Where'd you get that from? Where'd you pull that from? Where did that come from? Totally talking about shot. I was like, she's destroying the room. Oh my goodness, this is an emotional moment for Samara. And if you look at the video, like I'm like looking at it, trying to absorb it all, and like, oh my god, like. And then like I see Travis just kind of shaking it, yeah, and then Marie is just like crying her eyes out. We were feeling it. So where'd that come from? Okay, and the Asha goes too.
I mean, honestly, that, and what's really funny, whoever's watching, I hope that they know how much of a nugget of gold they're getting here. That was actually a reshoot.
Mm-hmm.
We had to reshoot that scene because when we originally shot it, I think I remember I myself was getting caught up in the feelings. And it was just as dramatic, I promise. Mm-hmm. None of that got left out. But I think that when you asked to reshoot that scene, a part of me was a little conflicted, because I thought that I delivered a really good emotional scene, but oh my gosh, now that I'm watching it again, I'm like, oh damn, did I go? I think I might have got a little too into the description of her unraveling.
No,
I didn't realize that, and I didn't realize Marie was like tearing up. Lula May was crying. I was like, oh my gosh, I was just so focused on trying to recapture the original scene and the state of just the utter dismay Sammy was in that moment. Because that's during Homecoming, and that was during the first Cour. So she was still super duper, how would I say, impressionable. And she still had no idea that was her mother. She'd only had, I believe, one other run-in with her so far in the series. So all of those comments that she made were just chipping away at her self-confidence until there was almost like nothing left. And Yeah, that text from her dad about packing her foster sister's belongings just kind of tipped her over the edge.
And I like, cause I remember, like I was when we were doing this, it was more of like we understood like who your foster dad was, just going to be talking through text. And unbeknownst to you, I was trying to set up a future character, wink wink, hint hint towards what's coming
Oh,
early here and really have
okay.
it. And I think um it was just fun to see how you wanted to represent the mind state of Samara in this scene. And like I was like, girls going through it, she's destroying the room. Her father just said, make sure it was clean. What's gonna happen next? As obviously we're making up as we go, but at the same time, like you're both observing outside and inside, which made it such a fun experience.
I think that's one of the beautiful things about this game of Masks, a New Generation, is the fact that you, as the player, can be a rational adult, knowing that you are having a uber duper crash out. But you know what? That's okay, because I'm playing a 16-year-old teenager that's going through what they consider the end of the world for them. And I think that her actions in that moment, I think they were justified. I think they were valid, salad. But maybe that's just because I'm the player. I might be biased. I don't know. You should all watch and tune in and let us know in the comments if you think Sammy was rational in that moment and some of her other behaviors. Let us know.
Let us know in the chat, please. Send us
Please.
a comment.
Yes.
Um, no, totally. And I, if I had to ask me, I would say for a teenager, yes, was rationalized. I could see a teenager, like if I was in Sammy's shoes, I could totally see that. Like you're a teenager who's also a superhero and going through all that, and you're going through like puberty in a sense that normal teenagers don't. So that anger, I think every teenager feels it when you're, especially during that stage in your life. But to add on like superpowers and a destiny and all that, I say hashtag she was justified. Hashtag
Hashtag
Sammy.
justified.
Yeah,
Hashtag
exactly.
justified. Also, I want to add that um, after that whole scene and debacle, um, actually, I'm not giving any. I'm not giving any. You need to stay tuned and watch, y'all.
Yeah,
How
don't
about
spill it.
that?
Okay, Tom
No
Holland, don't spill
spoilers.
anything. No spoilers.
Yeah.
No, love it, love it. Where do these wigs come from? Every we see Samara L/LM in a new wig, an episode, new style, new part. Where are these coming from? We just pulling it out of like just our magical wardrobe.
Well, I wish it was magical, but no, I I have a nice dresser full of wigs. I think last time I checked, I have about 17 wigs. They're all different characters, all different personalities and vibes. Um, I've got wigs for any and all pronouns. I really, because I naturally am bald, so I feel like wigs just help me get grounded in that character. And sometimes the mannerisms, the hair fidgeting, that's the character coming out.
Oh, yeah.
That's mannerisms that if Louis had hair, he would be doing that too, maybe. But
um,
yeah.
versus when you see me doing it, it's because it's in the way. I'm just like uh, every
For you,
character.
it's less flair. For you, it's more like this is not being very strategic. And also, you go all out. You don't just do wigs. You do wigs, costumes, masks, all. As you can see from your awesome characters that you portray as our GM.
Oh, I try. I wanna, as we put, I want to I don't want to break the immersion, as we say, as much as I can.
It's also
Um,
production value.
oh yeah,
We like,
right?
zhuzhing it up.
Exactly. So one of the things that we do zhuzh up in, if you will, in mass is that we do have a whole entire tarot card system. We're doing readings. We are trying to apply the readings to the story as best as we can as we interpret it. I try to do a reading every day. I wake up, draw from a card, look up the cards so I can get used to knowing them. But there's so many. And even after we've been playing for so much now, I'm still and then as the readings go, they get better because I become better at reading the tarot cards. Um, but I love that element. I didn't realize how much I would have loved tarot cards and how well it kind of bleeds into storytelling. I think I went to um PAX panel on tarot cards and how and D&D and tarot cards, and I'm just like, "Oh my goodness, yes, there's so much storytelling." But I'm like, the only game I think that can really let you storytell with the players and let the cards be the guide, and it would be a PBTA game. So I just like stumbling over, and I kept I guess shoving it down people's face, like, "You wanna play with tarot cards? Wanna play tarot cards?" Until, like and then, of course, like, infatuation with anime and all things, Japan culture, I just wanted to throw in that, and I'm like, "Yeah, give me my Sailor Moon realness, transformation." Um
Exactly.
so our next clip is just a little clip on how at the beginning of every session, unless it's like a two-parter, we do what happened in the last week, what they're going through now, and then try to predict what's going to happen in the story in the future by doing a three-card past, present, future tarot read. So I'm going to go ahead and show a clip of what one of these reads look like. Specifically, we are going to look at episode 3, Knights of Wands, because there's another clip in there I will love to show, at 3 minutes and 18 seconds. We can hop in there for those of you following at home. Um, so why don't we just flip to that clip? I'll fast forward to it and then we will watch. There we are.
That was weirdly satisfying.
Now, we shall do our reading. The Two of Pentacles. You learn how to adapt, improvise, and keep things moving, even when life was unstable during your past. Your present, the Knight of Pentacles. It's about committing, showing up, and doing the work. This card says that you're laying your foundations, even though progress may be slow. And the Death Major Arcana upright.
So many pentacles.
Major ending, transitioning, or closure.
Yeah, so for Bryce, the balance and multitasking isn't so much of his hero life and his mundane life. That's a given. It's more of a balance now of him his past self being like that goofy doofy dude, or do you become a leader? Do you stand up? Do you be the prom king that you're promoting yourself to be? Do you be the hero that you're trying to be? Do you it's really hard to be a class clown and also a leader. And so that's the balancing he's in his past he's doing, and I think in the future he might need to choose and shift.
Oh. And what does this mean for our Lula May for the past, these couple weeks that she's been going through with the Two of Pentacles?
The Two of Pentacles is incredibly appropriate for Lula May, as she is used to dancing the fine line between a truth and a lie. The truth of who she is to herself, the truth of who she is expected to be by others, balancing the many very high expectations that she either puts on herself or is put upon her by others. And I think she's been embracing that duality, but questioning it. Is it right to constantly hide, to bottle up who you really feel like you are because you're expected to be something else? And is it everyone else's fault that you act this way? Are they the ones telling you to do this, or are you just doing what you think is expected of you without ever actually giving someone a chance to tell you what they actually want?
I think that for Samara, this means that she was able to not only get the budget in and all of that hard work finally to fruition, and making sure that her friends are her friend is going to be able to go to prom. She knows that Lulame would not stop harping about that, so that was the extra little push she needed. She's such a big fan of prom queen, and also knowing that she's got her vote, she it has materialized now that she has her vote, obviously. But I think also what this is going to showcase is how since Samara was also paying a lot of attention to her super heroic life, she actually was able to unlock infinite powers. So that's going to be a really interesting way how that appears and how that pops up in the fiction. She's only one doom track away, one doom box away from having any ability from any book at her fingertips.
Ooh. Okay.
Wow.
So that pretty much is what we do at the beginning of every session. Of course, that's been edited down a little bit for streamline, but we definitely go into detail so we understand. It's like every session has a session 0, if you will, for us to understand what
Kinda.
state of our characters are in. And first of all, that mask, I don't know if I'm ever gonna wear it again. It broke anyway. The thing looks like it was
No.
eternally falling off my face.
Oh, I mean, it looked like those horns were so heavy.
It was just slowly. I'm just like, come on, pick it up, Omar, pick it up. But that was something I definitely brought from like alpha of this, where we're just like, we are going to have where it was, because I've always did tarot as a one shot. So it's like, what's the story? Let's draw cards to see how our team came together, how it was everything using that of the tarot. But then I was like saying this could be if it's told within a week, every episode is a week. This is what we've been going through, those times that you didn't see our heroes because time has passed. And it's an easy way to streamline it to be something that's enjoyable to watch and play and tell a story without having to go through like my character walked here, slept here. Well, no, we can kind of explain that through this process. So what are your thoughts on that? And how would you and don't worry, you could be as cutthroat if you want. This is we're all friends and viewers here. What are your thoughts on that process, on how that little mechanic of tarot?
I absolutely love it. I think that, as you mentioned before, tarot cards can be a phenomenal way for storytelling, and how you can inject some drama or maybe invoke some new ideas that may not have been lingering in our minds. So I kind of love and look forward to the readings because it helps us get into the mindset of the kind of story we're trying to tell. And it also is a way for all of us to kind of come together and to try and bring our ideas in a cohesive manner, because the tarot cards may be affecting us a little bit differently, but the overall essence of what they mean is still pretty much the same. So it also helps to kind of make the I almost called it a show. Yes, our show. It makes the show feel that much more on brand. The fact that the tarot they're the ones that are leading the story, and we're following behind with our own ideas to make it that much better. That's the reason why I think it's so badass when you draw the tarot and you read them so well. I would never think that you weren't a pro, because I never see you sweat. So T, good for you. And I'm always looking forward to seeing like what's the next draw going to be, especially once you started allowing us to say maybe when to stop. That was a
Oh
nice
yes.
little homebrew. Thank
Yeah,
you.
because I was like, everyone was just like, how could literally one time we oh, I don't want to, because that's in
Yeah,
there. I won't
no
reveal it, but
spoilers.
there was some stuff that happened. I was like, I didn't make it up. I was like, from now on, you tell me when to stop. And it still got, and then someone else got and then the thing still happened. We were like, that's not, thank the
We love to
cards,
see
'cause
it though.
they want to tell the story.
Exactly. That's why we play to find out.
Exactly. Um, yeah, and I think I had a blast just seeing where your ideas would go, and it kind of like pulls the like the pressure, if you will, off of like have to think of everything. You're like, all right, I have this help from tarot cards. Say, all right, so it says that I'm dealing with trials and tribulations. So, and you like you can dig in there and really start to feel like, all right, I think this is what my character will be going through, and it plays into that whole this is a collaborative story, not just the GM, which I definitely want to showcase, and I hope that people would have fun having that much control, because a lot of games you don't really have that control as a player. You're just along for the ride. So this is like, what if you were a player? Yes, but you could twist in things into a way that you found interesting, and that really does call for having a great table. So players, and so once again, kudos to all of you for that.
Definitely, and thank you for giving us the players that level of agency. It also, I hope that when people are watching this show, if they are from a more traditional um, TTRPG background, like Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, etc., I I want you to see that you don't have to necessarily just leave your entire system. You can always borrow things from other systems to make yours just that much better. You're just adding toolkits to your tool belt. And I think that if anything that I learned as me personally, as a GM, I think I might be busting out my deck of tarot cards that I got for Christmas 2 years ago from my partner, because I think that it does add another layer of collaboration that is awesome. So thank you for inspiring me. I hope others are inspired as well.
Of course, it's just been a pleasure all around. And I'm constantly inspired by you guys and your creativity when it comes to your characters. Like for instance, one really who's really great. We're all great at it. And one person I want to spotlight is Marie. She always seems to have she really figured out her character and plays in it so well. So this next clip I want to show is like when we first met Diamond. And I don't know if you realized as we were going through, I didn't tell you when you would get your tarot powers. I just said it will happen eventually and we'll play into it. And then it seems like you guys knew when it was happening and like we're able to just hop right in and like have this whole transformation scene, which was just like I had an idea in my head. Was like, well, we'll love if this would happen, and it was so much better than I could ever imagine. So this is the scene I'll play. This is going to be the same episode. So episode 2. Sorry, episode 3, Night of Wands, and we're gonna start up at 2 hours and 15 minutes in, and 2 hours 15 minutes and 37-ish seconds in,
Wow.
as we dive into when we first saw Marie or Lula May become Diamond. So
Nice.
let's take a quick look as we go to that section.
Greetings, everyone.
All right.
Full caution and diligence. Okay. I am not going to cause collateral damage. I will just engage the threat.
Very nice. Okay. And if you did cause collateral damage, what benefit would that give you would say?
I
Another
think
option.
it would just give me another option. I think Diamond is always ready to take a hit while she's protecting. She will withstand a blow. She will take the pain. She will be the one to hurt if it means she can protect other people.
So, can I offer you a suggestion, or can I tempt you with an offer?
Perhaps.
Shall we leave it up to the cards? As you begin to charge, I feel like this will engage a new custom tarot. Rewrite fate. Rewrite fate is when you try to bend reality in some form, which is you're trying to get that bonus from
Bull in a China
shop, but not do any damage. So this is taking away a negative. This is what we like to call rewrite fate. So it's basically retroactively altering and editing a single line in your playbook move.
I accept it. I reach for the power.
Alrighty.
As concerned as she is with her friend Hex, knows it's not the time, takes this staff and leaps towards this giant creature, taking the staff and hitting it up high around its head to try to knock it off balance. And in a quick successive blow, I knock it out, but there's a pillar right next to us, like if you think of a subway station and there's all these pillars there. I almost hit it, and rather than actually striking with my staff, I leap and do almost like a spin around the creature's head, hooking it. The diamond at the end of the staff grabs on and almost shifts slightly. It's almost, maybe it's a trick of the light, hard to say, but I knock it out of balance, and it is the moment where Diamond even feels like that wasn't me. There was something else at work here. There was an energy at work here that, while I can't see, I know it's what I'm reaching towards. And there's just successive blows of knocking it one after another until we almost get onto the train tracks. And rather than crushing the tracks and possibly causing an accident on any incoming train that might be, on its way, both Diamond and the creature get lifted up and kind of tumble back onto the platform. And I'm just kind of pinning it.
Nice. So what were your three that you chose?
I will be, let's see, taking, so creating an opportunity for my allies. I would like to do that.
All right. I was muted. Sorry about that. We will stop right there. But I thought that was a wonderful just kind of sequence of hearing a diamond, and they're doing it was showing the new tarot card mechanics where you could flip cards over and add and subtract, and things could happen because good and bad happen to you guys all the time. And then but then hearing how Marie kind of took and really developed that character in that way, which was very, very interesting. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan for Diamond Lula May.
I also want to shout out Lula May, Diamond / Marie for being such a risk taker. I feel like out of all three of us, she has been the most confident in trying out these new mechanics that I'm honestly a little too scared, because once you draw a card, if it's reverse, you minus that from your total that you roll. For people at home that don't know what we're talking about, yeah, that's scurry. So I'm like, okay, I'll let y'all take those crazy risks. No, maybe I should. Maybe I should. We'll see. But I think that because Marie is such a risk taker, it does have these really phenomenal moments in the fiction that things that we didn't even expect to happen go off. And that's why I feel the reason why we have such an awesome storyline is because of the risks that were taken. So I've also been inspired in that sense. I will be taking advantage of the new mechanics a lot more and not be, because I already have a whole entire fail state of my Doom track that I'm already abusing so bad. I don't want to have both ends just go off rails. So that was my thinking, at least. But yeah, I love Marie for just leaning right into trying out these mechanics, because that's the reason why we're playing this game, is to see how this all works together. So,
Exactly.
kudos.
It's still being like created, and I said at the beginning, I was like, we're play testing it. So we'll
And I love
see.
it.
You'll see there actually through our editing, you might not be able to see it, but there are some times where like, yeah, that rule didn't work out. Let me rewrite it, and we come back and it's like, okay, that makes more sense. Because I think there was like 2 iterations before we even got to that, like the simplicity. Less is more, everyone, when you're making mechanics. No need to like say this does this, that, and that. No, it's there's uh a special like small, like you just need a little bit, and that to help move the story forward, instead of like trying to just upend and reroute and change the game. So less is more. I will.
Yes.
Yeah.
All our game designers at home, that should be the note you take, is that less is definitely more.
Oh yeah. Now, there's one last thing before we give a little like we'll get you a little like a spoiler less as possible sneak peek on Core 2. Um, we are going to show one more kind of sequence, one more hero that we didn't get to touch up on, and that's going to be Rip, aka the 10 of Swords reverse. So Rip has been such a blast to play with, and Rip, I mean Travis. You've seen him on tons of our shows this year. He's ATOD fam for life. Has been in here, well, same as long as I have. We started this together. So it's always funny to see his always affluent bougie characters that he picks with a heart of gold in the end. But he has such a very interesting take on what he wanted to do with Rip. To not reveal too much, but you could tell that he is driven by his family's view of him, and his family are strict and mean, and kind of eschews like his own vision of how the world should be. Been playing with Rip and against Rip, who's was your who is currently your like love interest, if you will, Rip, aka and slash your most annoyance in Bryce. What's your thoughts on the character? How do you feel Sammy has is with Bryce, and how that relationship has turned out this first core?
Oh, sticking to first core.
Mhm.
Yeah, in the first core, I think that because you have to understand, everyone, um, it's definitely a case of Sammy had a huge crush on Rip, the superhero. She's not that fond of Bryce, the person. So once she found out that Bryce and Rip were, she had some coming to terms. Um, I don't think any of her feelings for Rip were diminished. If anything, she had a better idea of who Bryce was as a person. So it helped, but we definitely can notice that there's she's still very much smitten over Rip. So we have to see how that develops after the first core. But yeah, I think we like to see that. Not the thing. Like, I'm gonna rewind. If we could edit what I just did, if I could reshoot that, I would say Sammy begins to cut our lovely Bryce some slack, some much needed slack, because she does not see the more endearing side of Bryce. It's very easy for her to see the side that is his how would I say this? Bryce has an exterior he likes to project, but he's very, very soft and gooey on the inside. So once she saw that, Bryce was capable of not being his usual, Bryce self, she definitely started to come around. But that's all just with time. Once you find out that your crush is actually low key, your at school rival, not really, but kind of sort of, it's hard to see them the same way anymore. But yeah, there's a very great trajectory for them.
Oh, I love that analogy. Knowing what I know, and then knowing what they know, what the audience doesn't know. Yes. Why don't we cut to the clip? We're gonna go into episode 2, 2 hours and 2023 minutes and 55 seconds to be exact. As we see Bryce at this point, his father said, "You better be working," and he sees both of his friends who have not tarot out yet. You haven't have access to your tarot power yet. He sees them being destroyed by Keishan, and he has to figure out, is he going to listen to his father, or is he going to go out and help his friends, and Nixus, who's getting hurt here. And then he makes a drastic decision to disobey, and that unlocked his arcana. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at that scene?
Hello, everyone. Of swords.
All right.
So in this moment, I would like to sort of see Diamond like pummeling this creature, and I'm assuming that it's like falling forward, and it's like sort of like she's like maybe like causing it like to buckle, and it's sort of like to come down. And you see Bryce sort of seeing this creature and analyzing the scene, and his armor starts to change. The catsuit, the skin tight catsuit that he was wearing sort of manifests and grows like another layer of armor. You see like sort of like the chest plate pop out, the stomach piece sort of pop out, like more manifestations on the thighs and arms. The gauntlets sort of grow bigger, and then this shining blue gem sort of appears at his in his chest, and this light, he like raises his hand, and like as he raises his hand, those shards sort of coalesce, and around him you see 10 golden swords of light that are pointing inwards towards him. And he says, "I am Arcana manifest, and behold the reverse 10 of swords." And you see like the tarot sort of appear, and visually it just sort of like grows and grows and grows and grows and grows, like sort of like a hologram behind him, so that way anyone can see. And in this moment I start like they sort of like float around me, and I start running up those psychic construct stairs that Sammy or Hex created, and sort of this beast is falling, and I can like running up, and I take these swords of golden light, and I want to like go to where Lula is, or try and run up this staircase and like leap and call and like grab them and like stab into the head of the beast, grab another one, stab into the neck, stab into the body, and like literally like pincer this beast down and put all of the 10 swords into this giant kaiju and like nail it to the street with these golden swords.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. We have to do a rewatch, just FYI.
Oh yeah,
We
totally.
need to do a rewatch with everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, just watching these as a viewer is so different from like acting and being a fellow participant. Wow, that was
Right?
exhilarating.
Yeah, it's so funny here, and I love the way that his theme music came out,
Hmm.
and that he started describing. Travis always embellishes and does all those over the top kind of transformation sequence, so he knew exactly what I wanted. He knew exactly what he wanted and built it, and I just had so much fun hearing that. I was like, that was a great introduction on a tarot transformation. I felt because he was the
Yes.
first one to go, and I think he did a really good job setting the bar for that. So it came out to be three amazing reveals that we saw today, and in the first core, which was like my idea. I was like, first core. I like why I don't want to dilly dally. I want you to have your powers, but I want to do like one power, focus on you. Next episode, and then we deal with like the big bad and really set the tone.
That's
Um,
why I feel like it felt so cohesive.
mhm. And it was that was just so much fun. I was just like I'm like jamming out again, like like looking at the listening to the transformation scene and all that. Man, I think yeah, and we Overlord who does our art. They did a
Yes.
fantastic job. Like,
Yes.
got it.
Kudos to our artist. Phenomenal job.
Yes, 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 yes. Fan over underscore Lord. Yeah, they do a fantastic job, and we'll keep going to them for our anime art and tarot because we
Yes,
love
please. And as
bringing
should
it.
all of you if you want some awesome anime art like ours.
Yes, totally. Links and all that will be are all on our website www.taily20s.com. But fun scene. I'll say really fun in the next in the episode after that where it was just Rip and um what is
Simon? Oh,
strength's name on my Steelheart. It was Rip and Steelheart, and then I got to
yes.
do the whole epic anime solar flare, which when I listen, when I look at it, it was like solar eclipse. I was like, isn't that when the moon covers the sun? We're just gonna it whatever it is. I hope no one calls me out. But lunar eclipse, I mean, I guess that
It
could
is
have
what it
sounded
is.
cool. I just want to because I was
A
gonna
lunar
say,
eclipse is cool.
but it makes me think of
Waterbenders hate
moon.
it from the
Yeah,
Avatar
that's
verse.
true. It makes me think of moon when you hear that, but in like technically speaking, solar eclipse is like no sun, so whatever. Please forgive
Semantics.
me. Semantics. But what can you tell us, LM, that we can expect next core? And to remind you, so you don't give too much, next core is the core where we start to dive into, I would say Theo, and we'll leave it at that.
OMG. What you can expect from next core is going to be so much gaslighting.
Yes.
So much gaslighting. Um, there's going to be so many interesting characters being introduced, and Omar does not just introduce a character for frivolous reasons. Every single NPC in Omar's worlds has a purpose. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for who's being brought, who the new faces on the stage are. Because yeah, they're gonna make quite a splash. And only good things for the viewers if you're into drama. That's all. That's all.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the core of here's the rest of the cast of side characters and whatnot and people to throw at you. We get a lot of people introduced, which caused a stir. Like this, oh man, this is such a second core or if they were to be broken up into seasons, like if there were 3 episodes a season, like this is totally be like second season vibes on when you get all these like people who are trying to intermingle. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but what's really awesome is how we're able to introduce new faces and characters and yet still make it feel like we're not losing any of the previously mentioned characters. So I think that's a really great balance where you introduce new people, but you don't just, go the Marvel route and just kill off the previous ones. No, we introduce and we have a steady flow. So I think that's a fair assessment for all the cores.
Oh yeah. Oh, wait, this is also the political core. The political in this world. You'll see.
Yeah, yeah. Inner game world politics.
Yeah. which will ask you questions like who's right and who's wrong. This is the kind of things we're going to pull from the
Mm,
story. So it was a great. I love this core. I cannot wait to rewatch it as we
Same.
as we
Same.
put it up. But always, you guys can watch it every Monday, obviously, except for this one because this is the core. And then when we're doing core, we'll always have a talk back where we go and discuss things. But we will. You can catch it every Monday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on simulcasted on Twitch and YouTube, youtube.com/@ATOD20s or twitch.tv/ATOD20s. Then it'll be posted on our website in the VODs at www.ataleofd20s.com. Once again, warm thank you and glad to see you again to our LM, your GM.
Thank you so much, Omar. Absolute pleasure.
And we'll catch you next week as we begin episode 5, the first of Core 2. So with that being said, everyone, from the first chapter to the last page, be kind to one another, spread love, and we will see you all next time. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. That's right. Oh my gosh.